Hi there YouTube fans. It wasn't long ago when I was browsing through YouTube and I stumbled across this video interestingly titled Adam Deen, Evolution and Censorship by SkyDivePhil. Now, in short, this video was attempting to attack Muslim apologetic speaker Adam Deen. Phil Harper's video argued that Adam Deen had been dishonest, so after watching Phil for over 10 minutes I decided to actually go onto the blog and read Adam's article for myself. However, from having done so, I was absolutely surprised as it did not at all reflect what I saw in Phil's video. You see, Adam Deen is not denying the theory of evolution. No, rather what his article is saying is that if one wanted to doubt an absolute theory of evolution, that the doubts can be warranted, as in there is enough to doubt. Secondly, if a Muslim is arguing the absolute theory of evolution, including that man evolved from ape ancestry, it's not enough just to dismiss the verses pertaining to creation, which was the case with the original author that Adam Deen was responding to. No, one has to give some sort of explanation for the verse. No, Adam is not saying that it's impossible, but rather one has to take that into account. And for your information, this clarification was available well before Phil Harper's video was even published. If one bothered to actually look at his comment section below his article, one would understand what Adam is actually arguing for. It's clear Adam Deen doesn't have a definitive position on the theory of evolution. And to claim that Adam Deen is necessarily a creationist is an attempt to impose a convenient label to poison the well. So Phil's video completely misrepresents Adam Deen's article. Well, let's have a look at Phil's allegations. But before we actually look at what he says against Adam, let's look at Phil's desperate claim of censorship. So he begins his video by talking about the aims and objectives of the Muslim Debate Initiative, and how he has not had the chance to express his views and opinion on Adam Deen's articles.
Adam Deen is a speaker frequently used by the Muslim Debate Initiative. Their stated aims are promoting debate, dialogue, discourse and discussion between all sections of the global community. They go on to say, MDI welcomes non-Muslims to get involved and participate in the debate. But yet my video, which attempted to do exactly that, has now been censored.
He implies that his criticisms are somehow censored by Adam Deen. The problem here is that Phil is expecting people not to research. He's playing on the ignorance of his viewership and banking that they won't even bother to go into Adam Deen's blog. Here, take for example the Stephen Hawking article. We can see a number of comments on Adam Deen's article which have allowed Phil to freely criticise for public view. So it becomes clear that Adam Deen isn't really bothered with Phil's arguments. He just doesn't want to support Phil in exploiting YouTube to slander him as being dishonest. And I'm sure that anyone in Adam Deen's position will do the same, whether they are atheist, Muslim, Christian or whatever. Moreover, I was actually intrigued to find on YouTube that MDI, the Muslim Debate Initiative, actually set up a debate with Phil Harper. So much for censorship, Phil. Does this sound like a man that has not been allowed to express his views and opinions? Well, if he has now been blocked, well, I don't blame them after his childish behaviour on YouTube. Maybe Phil should stop pretending to be a martyr of censorship and actually come clean. Okay, so moving on to Phil's claims against Adam Deen. It's highly ironic that Phil charges Adam Deen with misquoting when he himself misquotes Adam Deen. He attempts to imply that Adam Deen is lying or misquoting these individuals. Well, what does misquoting somebody actually mean, Phil? It means to quote something inaccurately or out of context. So please, where is the inaccuracy and where is it out of context? Phil claims that Adam Deen is misquoting the scientists as if they are not evolutionists. But hold on. If you read the article carefully and correctly without imposing one's understanding, Adam Deen uses the quotes not to claim that the scientists are not evolutionists, no, but he is using the quotes to support the view that there is a lack of fossil evidence only. Never does he claim that these people don't believe in evolution. And this was really clear to me from reading Adam's article, and I'm absolutely clueless as to why Phil got the wrong end of the stick. But then again, how could Phil mix this up? Maybe it is his lack of basic comprehension. For example, Phil objects to Adam Deen quoting Mark Ridley. He attempts to show a screenshot of Ridley's article and tries to represent Adam as being dishonest merely because he did not include the sentence stating, "This does not mean that the theory of evolution is unproven."
In any case, no real evolutionist, whether gradualist or punctuationists, uses the fossil record as evidence in favour of the theory of evolution. But what is the bit that Adam Deen doesn't want you to see? It's the very next sentence. "This does not mean that the theory of evolution is unproven," says Ridley. And he goes on to say that there are many kinds of evidence for evolution and that we don't need the fossil evidence. He's not saying that the fossil evidence is inconsistent with evolution. And I think to imply otherwise is either bad scholarship for not reading the article, or it's simply dishonest.
Phil then goes on to talk about bad scholarship. And this again is quite comical when he claims that Adam doesn't want you to see this quote. But how can Phil possibly know Adam doesn't want you to see this? Scholarship is all about looking at the facts, not dealing with one's paranoia. Anyway, the sentence where Ridley states fossil records are not needed, it's absolutely irrelevant to Adam Deen's point. Why is it irrelevant? It's irrelevant because whether Ridley thinks fossil records are important in determining whether evolution theory is valid or not is Ridley's opinion. And Adam Deen is using the part of the quote regarding fossil records to show to those individuals that do think fossil records are vital in determining theory. And it clearly is to some scientists, including Darwin himself. Also, it's very apparent from reading the article, nowhere does Adam Deen claim that Ridley is not an evolutionist or that Ridley views the fossil records as important. So where is the misquote? And where is the dishonesty? Well, now that we have put Adam Deen's use of Ridley's quote in proper context, the comment,
"But what is the bit that Adam Deen doesn't want you to see?"
just looks like a blatant case of paranoia. I mean, good scholarship is about dealing with facts, not presupposing one's conclusions, Phil. Furthermore, the claim that Adam is quoting scientists to prove that they are against evolution becomes even more absurd. Why? But when you read the article, it is clear that Adam Deen implicitly implies Stephen Jay Gould is an evolutionist. How can one then deduce that Adam is misquoting Stephen Jay Gould as being against evolution when he is trying to show an internal dispute within evolution itself? Because in order to have an internal dispute, it presupposes that Stephen Jay Gould believes in evolution to begin with. I guess Phil missed this slight minor detail too. Adam Deen has even made the effort to clarify his use of the quotes, and yet Phil unashamedly still has his video up. In fact, the very same quotes are used in John Lennox's book, God's Undertaker, Has Science Buried God?, to show that there is a lack of fossil evidence. Now, John Lennox is actually a professor of mathematics at the University of Oxford. I dare Phil to accuse the eminent professor of not doing his homework, or with the more serious claim of being dishonest. Look, Phil, it is one thing to say Adam is incorrect, mistaken, or even deluded, but to claim that he is dishonest without evidence is in fact dishonest in itself. Ladies and gentlemen, making allegations that Adam pretends, which equates to saying that Adam fabricates data, it's blatant slander. However, unfortunately for Phil, his idiocy doesn't end there. And the most absurd thing about this whole facade of Phil's is that he himself is a victim of his own criticism. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, even if Adam was guilty of Phil's baseless claims of misquoting, Phil too would also be guilty. Why? Well, let's have a look at one of Phil's earlier videos titled, Before the Big Bang, a Response to Some Theists. In order to attempt to attack a theist, he quotes John D. Barrows.
Cosmologist John Barrow backs this view up, but as we'll see here, It doesn't. Read this and you'll see the exact opposite is what John Barrow is saying. But we shouldn't just do what the theists do and resort to an argument from authority. Instead, let's see what the error is.
But what Phil doesn't want you to know is that Barrows is actually a Christian. He wants you to think this is another atheist scientist arguing against God creating the universe. Naughty, naughty, Phil.
It's either bad scholarship for not reading the article, or it's simply dishonest.
So then I think that this sums up what Phil's all about. Let this be a lesson to all the Phils out there that intentionally misquote people for unfounded glory. So Phil, what this looks like is your sad attempt to get publicity with your cheap attempt of an expose on Adam Deen's honesty. So I would say, either you lack the intelligence, or you intentionally misquote him, or you suffer from great paranoia. But either way, I recommend that you take a long break from making videos on YouTube. Thank you for listening.